Chosen one, stop everything you are doing right now. This cannot wait. What I am about to reveal to you in the next few minutes is going to shake something so deep inside you that you will wonder how you ever doubted yourself. Because I know exactly why you clicked on this video. There is someone, a specific person, and from the very first moment you met them, something inside you screamed that this person wasn't what they appeared to be. But nobody believed you. They told you that you were overthinking, that you were too suspicious, that you were seeing problems where none existed. And for a while, they almost convinced you that you were the problem. Almost. But today, I am here to tell you something that changes everything. God has just confirmed what you already knew, and the way He did it is going to leave you absolutely speechless. Subscribe to this channel right now and turn on all notifications, because what I am about to expose about that person, about what was really happening behind the scenes, and about why God gave you that perception before anyone else, is going to validate every single instinct you had, that others tried to make you ignore. Stay with me until the very end, because I am going to show you exactly what heaven saw in that situation, why you were chosen to receive the warning, and what this means for the next season of your life. Write 777 in the comments if there was someone you had a gut feeling about that turned out to be completely accurate. That unexplainable knowing deep in your soul. Let's talk about something nobody mentions, but you know all too well. That moment when you meet someone and something stirs inside you, it is not a thought. It is not a logical conclusion based on evidence. It is something far deeper, like a silent alarm that activates in a place within your being that you didn't even know existed. The first time you felt that with this person, you probably tried to ignore it, because on the surface, everything seemed normal. Maybe they even seemed like a good person, kind, appropriate, saying all the right words, making all the right gestures. But there was something that didn't quite fit, like a musical note slightly out of tune in the middle of an otherwise perfect melody. Most people wouldn't have noticed anything, but you are not most people. And that is precisely what has caused you so much internal conflict. Because when you mentioned your concern, when you tried to express what you were feeling, you were met with resistance. People looked at you like you were crazy. They said you were too intense, too analytical, too negative. Here is what nobody told you in that moment. That ability to perceive what others don't see is not a defect. It is a gift that comes with a very high price, the price of seeing truths that others prefer to ignore, the price of feeling realities that others choose to deny, the price of knowing things ahead of time and having to wait, sometimes for years, until the rest of the world finally wakes up. That feeling you had about that person wasn't paranoia. It wasn't insecurity. It wasn't your mind playing tricks on you. It was discernment. And discernment is one of the most misunderstood gifts that exists. Because unlike other gifts that are celebrated and admired, discernment often makes you look like the villain of the story, the party crasher, the one who ruins the illusion. The one who sees the emperor is naked when everyone else applauds his invisible clothes. But let me tell you something crucial right now. You weren't wrong. You never were. And what is about to be revealed is going to prove it in a way that nobody can deny. Why did you see it first? There is a question you have probably asked yourself countless times. Why me? Why was I the one who had to see this? Why couldn't I just be like everyone else and not notice anything? The answer to that question has roots far deeper than you imagine. You see, discernment doesn't develop in comfortable environments. It is forged in the fire of experiences that most people never go through. Every time someone lied to you and you had to learn to detect the lie just to survive, your discernment sharpened. Every time you trusted someone who betrayed you, your ability to perceive hidden intentions strengthened. Every time the world showed you that appearances deceive, your spiritual sensitivity deepened. You didn't develop this ability because you wanted to. You developed it because you had no other choice. It was either that or continue being wounded by people who hid who they really were. And here is the irony that nobody talks about. The same painful experiences that others would regret were exactly what equipped you to see what no one else could see. Your pain became perception. Your trauma transformed into spiritual radar. Your wounds became windows into hidden truths. That is why you saw that person before anyone else did. Not because you are negative, not because you look for problems, but because your spirit was trained through circumstances. You didn't choose to recognize masks, to detect incongruities, to sense when words say one thing, but the energy says something completely different. This is a gift that heaven honors profoundly. Because in a world filled with deception, people with discernment are beacons of truth. They are the ones who protect others from falling into traps. They are the ones who warn before it is too late. They are the silent guardians who see approaching dangers while everyone else sleeps peacefully. You are one of those guardians. And that person you had the feeling about was a test. Not a test to see if you could detect them. You already knew you could. It was a test to see if you would trust your gift, even when nobody else validated it, even when they made you doubt yourself, even when the entire world seemed to be against you. And although there were moments when you almost gave in to the pressure, something inside you remained firm. That firmness did not go unnoticed in the spiritual realm. I want to take you to a place you cannot see with your physical eyes. A place where the true intentions of every human heart are recorded. While you questioned yourself, while you wondered if you were being unfair to that person, something very different was occurring in the invisible realm. Every action of that person was being documented. Not the public actions everyone saw, the private ones, the ones that happened when nobody was watching, the thoughts they never expressed out loud, the intentions they kept hidden even from themselves, the plans they were weaving in the darkness of their own heart. Everything was being recorded with perfect accuracy. And meanwhile, your discernment was being monitored too, but in a very different way. When you felt that uneasiness about that person, that was registered as correct perception. When you expressed your concern and were ignored, that was recorded as faithfulness to truth under extreme pressure. When you doubted yourself but still couldn't shake that feeling, that was documented as integrity of your gift. You were being observed, not to judge you, but to track your growth. Because every time you maintain your perception, despite opposition, your gift grows stronger. Every time you refuse to call good what you know is bad, just because others do, your discernment deepens. Every time you choose uncomfortable truth over convenient lies, your connection with divine wisdom expands. And now, after all that process, the moment of vindication has arrived. Not because you need it to validate your gift. Your gift was validated from the moment you received it. But because others need to see that you were right, not to feed your ego, but so they learn to listen to you next time. So they understand that when you point something out, it is worth paying serious attention. So they recognize that heaven gave you eyes that see beyond surfaces. The confirmation is coming, and when it arrives, it will not be subtle. It will be undeniable. For those who want to develop their spiritual discernment intentionally. There is exclusive material in the description and pinned comment that costs less than a pizza and comes with a complete audiobook plus a 5-minute meditation guide as a bonus gift. Now I want you to do something with me. I want you to remember the specific moments when you received warnings about that person, because I am certain it wasn't just once. There were multiple signals arriving in different forms at different times. Maybe it was a dream where that person appeared in a way that disturbed you, where they did something that revealed their true nature, where the mask fell and you saw what was really underneath. You woke up feeling unsettled. You probably tried to forget it, but the dream wouldn't leave you. It kept returning to your mind at the most unexpected moments. That wasn't coincidence. That was communication. Maybe it was a physical sensation. Every time you were near that person, something in your body reacted. A knot in your stomach, tension in your shoulders, a discomfort you couldn't explain rationally, but that was absolutely real. Your body was trying to tell you what your mind refused to accept. Maybe it was words from other people, comments that seemed casual but contained crucial information. Someone mentioning something about that person that confirmed your suspicions. Small pieces of the puzzle arriving from unexpected sources. Maybe it was something that person themselves said or did. A moment where the mask slipped for just a second. A phrase that revealed more than they intended. A reaction that didn't fit with the image they were projecting. You noticed it. You filed it away in your memory. And although you tried to give them the benefit of the doubt, that piece never fit with the rest of the puzzle. All these signs had the same origin. They weren't coincidences. They were warnings. Communications designed specifically for you, in a language your spirit could understand, even when your conscious mind struggled to process it. The reason you received so many signals is because you were critical in that situation. Not as a victim, but as a protector. You were being equipped with information so you could protect yourself, so you could protect others. So when the moment came, you would have the necessary clarity to act correctly. Heaven doesn't send multiple warnings about people who represent no real danger. The quantity of signals you received is directly proportional to how important it was that you pay attention. And although not all of them were heeded as they should have been, although there were moments where pressure from others made you ignore what you knew, you never completely lost your connection to the truth. That connection is what is now being honored. This next part may be difficult to hear, but you need to understand it. When you shared your concerns about that person and nobody listened, it wasn't because you were wrong. It was because they couldn't see what you saw, and there is a reason for that. Not everyone has the same level of spiritual perception. This doesn't make them bad people. It doesn't make them less valuable. It simply means their equipment is different from yours. Just as some people have perfect vision and others need glasses, some people have sharp discernment and others need more tangible evidence before they can see certain realities. The person you were warning them about was probably highly skilled at showing people exactly what they wanted to see. They knew what to say, what to do, how to behave. For those without deep discernment, that person seemed perfectly normal, even good, even admirable. And when you came with your warning, you were the one who seemed to have the problem, because you were contradicting what their eyes saw. You were challenging the reality they had constructed. You were asking them to trust your invisible perception above their own tangible experience. That is extremely difficult for most people, not because they don't love you, not because they don't respect you, but because you are asking them to believe in something they cannot see, based solely on your word. Here is what complicates it even more. The person you were warning about probably sensed that you could see them. People who wear masks have a sixth sense for detecting those who can see through them. And when they identify you as a threat, they do something very strategic. They discredit you before you can unmask them, subtly, intelligently. They plant small seeds of doubt about you in other people's minds. They make you seem unstable, dramatic, problematic. So when you finally speak up, your words fall on ground that has already been poisoned against you. Not because what you are saying is false, but because they prepared the terrain so you wouldn't be believed. This is high-level manipulation, and the fact that people didn't believe you is not evidence that you were wrong. It is evidence of how skilled that person was in their deception. But masks have expiration dates, and this person's mask is about to expire. There is a turning point in every story of deception, a moment where the mask begins to crack, where lies start to contradict each other, where the truth that has been suppressed for so long begins to seep through the cracks. For the person you had that gut feeling about, that moment has either already arrived or it is arriving right now as you are watching this. Maybe you have already seen the first signs. Something they said that didn't match something they said before. A story that changed slightly when they told it the second time. Behavior that others are finally starting to question. An overreaction that revealed insecurity. A nervousness that wasn't there before. A desperation to control how others perceive them. These are the cracks. And once a mask starts to crack, the process becomes irreversible, because maintaining a false image requires constant energy. It requires remembering exactly what you told each person. It requires maintaining multiple versions of yourself for different audiences. It requires permanent vigilance, so no inconsistency gets detected. It is exhausting. And eventually, everyone living behind masks makes mistakes, not because they are careless, but because it is humanly impossible to maintain perfect deception indefinitely. Truth has a way of emerging, like water that finds its way through any barrier, like light that penetrates even the smallest cracks. The truth about this person is emerging right now, and you are going to be there to witness it. Not as someone seeking revenge, not as the one who says "I told you so" with malicious satisfaction, but as a witness that truth always prevails. As living proof that genuine discernment doesn't fail. As a reminder to yourself that you can trust what you perceive, even when nobody else sees it. Now we arrive at the heart of this message, the confirmation. I am not talking about vague or ambiguous confirmation. I am talking about something so crystal clear, you will not be able to dismiss it as coincidence. God has ways of validating his chosen ones that go beyond what the natural mind can explain. And for you, in this specific situation, confirmation is being orchestrated with surgical precision. It can manifest in different ways. Maybe the person themselves will reveal who they really are, not because they want to, but because they can no longer contain it. There is something that happens when truth has been suppressed for too long. It generates